If we discuss about Syslog, you have already came across your Syslog. You have been seeing the logs. Syslog is what? System logs, right? So means basically it is going to generate logs. Okay. Now, why do we require logs? For monitoring, right? For monitoring and checking the network events that, okay, what all the things are going on in your network. Okay. Now, logs, they are continuously being generated. If you see, when you go to the router, you assign an IP address and you give no shutdown command. Then you get a log. You get a message that, okay, your interface was in up state. What is that? That is log only. Okay. So by default, when we are taking the access, see here.
Kind of alert.
Not alert. It's just like an information given to you that, okay, this thing has already happened in your device. Because how you're going to monitor your network, how you're going to see whether, let's say, for example, why specifically why logs are required to identify unwanted events and to identify what is the reason and what time your network failed or a particular interface failed and why it failed. Okay, these kind of information will be available in your syslog. Okay, now what will happen? See, let's say your router is working, your company working hours is like morning 10 till night 10. Okay, so your log should be generated from morning till night 10 only. And if after that duration you are seeing some logs that, okay, an interface came up, came down, someone gave shutdown, no shutdown command, these kind of scenarios happened, then you'll come to know that someone is having unauthorized access to your network. Okay, so to identify these kind of things, to identify what all the events are happening in your network, okay, and what time they are happening, that's why you require what? Syslog. Now, similar concept is there with your SNMP also. Okay, but what is the thing? With your syslog, when you will get the log, when you get the message that your interface came up or came down, when someone has already given shutdown or no shutdown command, when the interface is already up or down, in that scenario only you'll see the log, right? Means if something has already happened, after that log will be generated. Means you will get what kind of data here? Historical data in case of your syslog. You will get what? Historical data. Means something has already happened and now you got the log. But there is another protocol for the monitoring, that is your SNMP. SNMP stands for Simple Network Management Protocol. Okay. And see, your syslog is going to provide you historical data. Your SNMP is going to provide you real-time data. Okay. Your SNMP is going to provide you real-time data. Now, how it is going to provide you real-time data? See here. We are not connected. Now, see, in case of SNMP, you will come across, there are few things. One is your SNMP manager. One is your SNMP agent. Okay. Your SNMP agent is what? This is the managed device. Means the device that is being managed. So what kind of devices you manage in the network? Network devices like your router, switch, firewall, access point, IP phones, these kind of devices you manage. Correct. So these all devices, your router, your switch, these are what? Managed devices. So your SNMP agent is what? It is basically a software program only. It is a software program that is available on your managed devices. Okay. Now, what is the use of this software program? What is the use of your SNMP agent? Your SNMP agent is going to provide all the information to the manager. And what is the manager? Manager is the managing device. Okay. And your manager is basically nothing, a computer program that is sitting or installed on a computer in your network. Okay. This is also a program that is installed in one computer in your network. So there will be one SNMP manager and if we talk about SNMP agents, there will be multiple SNMP agents. Each and every device, each and every router, switch, firewall, everything will have its own SNMP agent. Now, what is the use? See, why we are requiring these kind of scenarios? Because let's say, for example, you have multiple routers and switches and firewalls in your network, correct? So now, are you going to go and check each and every device? What is happening in there? How is the performance of the device? No, right? So what we do in the network, in one system, we will install your SNMP manager. We will install what? SNMP manager. Now, these devices, they come pre-installed with your SNMP agent. Your SNMP agent is already installed here. Okay, the agent is already installed in these devices. Now, all we have to do, just tell these devices that whenever there is a special event, you just push the information to the manager. And if your manager is asking you for some information, you just respond to that request. Means, see, with the help of Syslog, what is happening? Your device is just pushing the information, giving you the log. Can you ask that, okay, what is the CPU uses? What is the RAM uses on your router or switch through the Syslog? No, we cannot ask. But with the help of SNMP, we can do that. Means here you have communication between the devices. Here the manager and agent will be communicating with each other. Okay. And your Syslog works on the push mechanism. If something happened, just push the log to the CLI or to the Syslog server. Here you will get what? Historical data. Here you will get what? Real-time data. Is that clear? Yes. So what happens? Whenever you're, let's say this is the SNMP agent. On this agent, an interface went down. So now it has to inform what? SNMP manager. So it will use a special type of message that is known as your SNMP trap message. That message is known as SNMP trap. Okay. And whenever SNMP manager, let's say you are the network admin, you want to check that on which device, what is the CPU uses, RAM uses, what is the bandwidth uses. So what you can do, you can use a special message also. Okay. From the manager, you can send a request, and that request is known as SNMP get request. Whenever a manager wants to ask something to the agent, it will use SNMP get message. And your SNMP agent is going to give the response. Right? Now, your SNMP agent, it is going to store all the real-time information so that anytime your manager is asking, it should be able to provide that information. So for that purpose, there is something called as MIB. What is MIB? Management Information Base. This is management information base. In this management information base, everything will be stored, all the data. Okay. Now what will happen? SNMP manager will ask something through the GET request. It will check in the management base and forward that information, instant, real-time information. Okay. Now what? How your agent is going to understand that, okay, what information your SNMP agent or SNMP manager is asking. Because see, this manager is going to ask for the information, but how your agent will understand that what information it is asking. So for this purpose, we have something called as OID. OID is what? Object identifier. What it is? Object identifier. This is nothing but a series of numbers separated by dots, like 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dot, like this. There will be a series of numbers. Okay. And for each and every unit, let's say if you want to check the router CPU usage, for that there is a different OID. Okay. And that OID will already available in the bash base. So whenever it receives that OID, it will verify that, first of all, what is the information base being asked, and then it is going to send that information through the response. Okay. So clear about the SNMP? That what is SNMP? See, both your SNMP and Syslog, both are your monitoring protocols only. Okay, but with the help of Syslog, we cannot communicate with the device. We cannot configure the device. But with the help of SNMP, you can even configure the device. Like if you want, you can restart the device also. Okay, because why? We have something called as SNMP manager who can manage the network devices. Okay, and whenever there is a special event, what is happening? Even what you can do, you can set up limits also. Okay, with the help of manager, you can set up limits in the devices that if the bandwidth uses goes beyond 60%, you should send me an alert. So how the alert will be sent? Using the SNMP trap message. So the alert will come to the SNMP manager, and now manager can inform the admin via SMS, email, these kind of scenarios. Okay, so this is how your network admin can come to. Now, what is the benefit of using your SNMP? Now the admin doesn't have to monitor. Admin will just configure SNMP once, put up all the limits and everything. Now, every time there is a special event, admin will get an alert through the manager, right? So admin can just focus simply on corrective measures. Admin doesn't have to go and monitor each and every device. Why? Because that is being done by your SNMP manager itself. So your SNMP protocol is monitoring your network, right? It is monitoring. So admin will just focus on, okay, if there is a problem, what should be the correction? How it should be overcome. Admin will just focus on that part. So it reduces the task of network admin. Clear?
Using Syslog, there will be a historical message, and according to that, you have to manually configure what is the problem.
Correct.
Using SNMP,
see, if you are using Syslog, it will generate logs only. Now you have to first of all go through the log. You have to identify that, okay, what is wrong, when is wrong, when something wrong happened, okay, why it happened. So what you're doing? Monitoring, right? Then after, what will happen? Now you have to focus on corrective measures also. Plus that information is not real-time information, right? But in case of SNMP, first of all, you get the real-time information. If you want a random device, you can just open and ask that, okay, what is the CPU usage, RAM usage, or means any kind of monitoring, any kind of information you want for the device. And if you have already set the limits, you don't need to go and check every time. If there is special event, it will already send you an alert. So here, the admin doesn't have to go and monitor each and every device. The devices will automatically send a trap message to the manager. Here there is something called as community strings. Okay, kind of you can say you will set passwords. Okay, and you will say that, okay, if something happens, this is the SNMP manager. We will configure SNMP manager address that, okay, this is the SNMP server and you have to contact here if anything special happens. Okay, now entire management you will do through the manager only. Now no need to do anything on the agents. Those things you will have to configure through your manager. What is trap? Trap is nothing but you can say it is pushing information like your Syslog only. Okay, but when you have already configured that, okay, this is the threshold limit. If it is going beyond this, if the interface is going down, just send me a message alert. So that particular message through which it is sending, that is known as the trap. Okay, there is no special configuration. If you want to request that message, let's say if you want to access a website, in HTTP also we have HTTP get request and HTTP response. When you access website, you just type google.com, but in the backend that HTTP get message is going.
In case like there was a trap for PoE. What we did was like we asked us to like remove each trap from the network device. But instead of doing that, we can go in the SNMP manager itself and just disable that trap from there.
Yeah, you can manage the devices.
Yeah, then why I'm not sure you get access to do in the agent.
Oh, that is a different thing.
Like contract device.
See, still we are not coming to the automation part. Even in the automation, what will happen? You don't have to even touch the devices for configuration also. Okay, so step by step, this is a single protocol we are studying. So if this is a single protocol, and if you have access to these devices, then you will be directly going and looking at over these devices only. Okay, Because again, in the companies, we have different levels of admins also. And everyone has control to a different level. Okay. So this is clear. Now we'll see theory, more theory. See, SNMP Simple Network Management Protocol is an internet standard protocol used for monitoring and managing network devices connected over IP. Okay. SNMP collect data from different network devices like router, switch, firewall, printer, server, CCTV, and wireless access points that are SNMP enabled. What are SNMP enabled devices? The devices that are having your SNMP agent installed. Okay. And organize them. So you can monitor the devices and organize them. With a set of operational standards for management, SNMP aids in fault detection and analysis. Okay. Thus, SNMP is an integral part of interoperability between both the monitored and monitoring systems. Okay. SNMP generally uses UDP protocol, port number 161 and 162, and for security purpose, TLS and DTLS protocols it uses. Okay, your Syslog is not secure. Syslog sends all the data in the plain text only. Okay, but your SNMP is secure. Sends all the data in binary.
SNMP agents are already installed.
Yeah, already installed. You just have to go and give the SNMP server address and the thresholds. Community strings. Why we need SNMP? So we were discussing so far. Network admins generally manage the devices in a network, allocate and free up ports and interfaces to ensure uptime and bandwidth of free network operation. Means all the basic tasks of monitoring and management are done by the network admin itself. And closely monitoring your SNMP devices is a major part of this, like closely monitoring your router, switch, firewall. This is the major task. So SNMP monitoring requires an admin to configure the SNMP agent to send the monitoring data to SNMP manager. Okay. So if you want to start SNMP monitoring, you have the admin has to do what? It has to configure SNMP agent so that it will send the monitoring data to the SNMP manager. Since the network management tool take care of monitoring, admin can focus on performing corrective measures. Okay. Why SNMP is necessary? To automatically discover, monitor, and manage network devices, monitor key performance metric at the device and interface level. At per interface level, you can see what is the bandwidth usage and everything. Obtain complete visibility and granularity into the performance of the network device, that how the device is performing. And even you can configure threshold limits and generate alert in case of anomalies. Okay. How your SNMP works? So this is how your SNMP works. You have managed devices. In the managed devices, your SNMP agent is already installed. Okay. And they are storing the data inside the MIB. Now what? Whenever SNMP manager wants to get some information, it uses the get command to get a value from the management information base. Okay. And your agent is going to respond to that request.
It's like from time, any time where you periodically
using the OIDs.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to type in an OID, and through that it will ask the manager, agent. Okay.
So if something triggers in the network devices, immediately it will send an update to.
That is the trap. See, when you want to specifically look out for some information, that time it will use the get message. But if you have already configured the thresholds and everything, now something happened in the network device, let's say interface went down or something, then what will happen? Trap will be sent. Okay, they will directly push, they will not wait for the GET request. They will directly push the message to the manager. Okay.
So this GET is like for any information that any report we need.
Yeah, you need. Correct. So if you want to fetch some report, then you will use the GET message. And if some important event already happened, then you will get the trap message. Okay.
And in every agent, the OID will be same.
Yeah.
For
the MIB will be same. Okay. Now see how your SNMP is working. Your traffic flows across your network from different sources. SNMP communicate with the whole network and the devices in it. Okay. As mentioned earlier, SNMP is pre-configured on your devices, and once the protocol is enabled, the device will store their performance states. Okay, how the device is performing. Each network server will have multiple MIB files, and the device MIB files are required to fetch monitoring data. So whatever you want to fetch, that will be fetched from the MIB itself, because everything is getting stored in the MIB. The working of SNMP revolve around its components, wherein each component contribute management of resources. Okay, not a single device. If alone manager is present in your network, you cannot monitor. If alone agents are present, again, no use. So it will require contribution from each and every device. Agent also, manager also. SNMP works by sending protocol data units, also known as SNMP, get request to network devices, and the network devices are going to respond to the SNMP. And all these communications are tracked, and network monitoring tools use them to fetch data from SNMP. Okay. Then what are the different components? So we have SNMP manager, we have the managed devices. So SNMP manager is the central system used to monitor your SNMP network, and it is also known as NMS, network management system. Okay. SNMP manager is responsible for communicating with the SNMP agent implemented network devices, and it simply runs on a host on a network. On a computer, you will install the SNMP manager program. The manager requires the agents get response set variable in them and acknowledges the events from them. This is the task of your manager. Okay. What are the managed devices? Your SNMP, a managed device is the SNMP enabled network entity that is managed by SNMP manager. These are usually the router, switch, printers, firewall, CCTV, what all the devices that are having the SNMP protocol. Okay. Then we have your SNMP agent. So SNMP agent is a software process that respond to SNMP queries to provide states and statistics about network node. Okay, so agent is nothing but a software that is installed on your network devices. SNMP agent plays a most important role in the management. Why? Because it is the device that is going to respond to the manager and pushing the information. They are locally located and associated with SNMP network devices from which they collect, store, and transmit monitoring data. Data is transmitted to the designated SNMP manager when required. Means any important event, then the data is transmitted to the designated SNMP server. Means trap message will be sent. Then we have the MIB. So MIB forms an integral part of network management. MIB is a structure that defines format of information exchange in the SNMP system. Okay, that how the information will be exchanged. So all the information is structured inside your MIB. Now, whenever the manager is asking something, just respond, look in the MIB and respond with the related information.
For example, we have a 3P interface application. All those things will be collectively stored in one MIB.
In one MIB. MIB is what kind of, you can say, database on. In that, multiple files are stored related to, like, this is CPU interface accordingly. Now, if manager is asking something, look in the MIB, send that particular information.
Each of that CPU unit that has a different OID. Interface means it has a different OID.
Correct. So what is OID? Object identifiers are identified by string of number separated by dots. Yes.
If the information is not present in MIB. If the information is not present in MIB.
What kind of information? If something is present on the router, according to that, information will be there. Yeah, what we're saying, that all the informations will be stored. See here. What we said. Each network server will have multiple MIB files, and the device MIB files are, not this. See here. SNMP is pre-configured on the devices, and once the protocol is enabled, the device will store their performance states. So entire performance, CPU, RAM, your interface states, everything will be stored there. Okay. Now, what kind of information will not be present? Like if you try to look something else, and if it is not available, obviously you will not get any response. Okay. You'll get some error message. Okay. This is clear. OID, nothing. I already said these are nothing but the numbers separated by dots, and using the OID only, they will identify that what is the information being asked. Because see, let's say in the manager, you will go and say that I want CPU utilization, right? But in the backend, again, system does not understand, the protocol does not understand the words, right? So they will use in the backend OIDs, object identifiers. Because CPU utilization, we understand that, okay, this is the CPU utilization. Okay, but does the device understand? I mean, does the protocol understand the OIDs? I mean, the English, no. They will understand the OIDs in the backend. Okay, simply when I want to check for CPU utilization, I will just click on the CPU utilization, let's say, right? But in the backend, it will be sending SNMP get message, and in the get message, it will be sending what the OID that I want to look for this specific data, and the response will come through the OID only, right? But in my screen, I will see what the graphical representation. Okay. Then we have your SNMP versus Syslog, small comparison between them. So SNMP allow for remote management, remote monitoring of SNMP allowable devices on the network. And Syslog is a different protocol that can be used to exchange log messages. Then SNMP is used to alert on critical actions. Okay, there will be alerts generated, the trap messages will be there. And what your Syslog is going to do, it is going to collect. And with the help of Syslog, you can see that, okay, which interface went down, why your HSRP state change. Okay, that your, okay, HSRP state change, you will get a log that, okay, your HSRP active router is down. Then you will come to know why it is down, what time it was down. Okay, this kind of information you will get with the Syslog. Then your SNMP works on poll and resource mechanism. You can push in information, you can ask for some information. Okay, but your Syslog works only on push mechanism, means it is going to push the logs in your screen. That's it. SNMP is referred to get real-time information, and with the help of Syslog, you will get historical data. Okay, then you can perform end device configuration with the SNMP. Like if you want, you can even reboot the devices. Okay, but your Syslog, you cannot do the configuration. We cannot configure the devices using the Syslog protocol. Okay, then your SNMP traps are sent in binary format. Syslog events are plain text. So obviously this is secure and this is insecure. SNMP is an active protocol. You can have active communication between the devices. But Syslog is a passive protocol, just going to push in the logs. Your SNMP uses what? Port number 161, 162 UDP, and it uses TCP UDP port number 514. This is clear. Now in your Syslog, let me give you a small more introduction about Syslog. In your Syslog, you have different severity levels. Okay, if you have noticed, let me show you. These are the security levels, different security levels of your Syslog, like 0, 1. So there are total 8 security levels from 0 to 7. Okay, and depending on these security levels, you can identify that how critical is your log. Okay, if it is having 0, that means it is an emergency. Kind of, you can say system is at unusable state. Okay, usually when the interface are going down and up, so that are nothing but your notifications that you, okay, your interface went down, your interface came up. So you'll see the log as 5. Let me show you in the packet tracer itself. Let's say this is the router. Okay. I'll say no. Enable configuration terminal. Okay. Interface 3050, and let me say no show. You see here. This is what? This is a log. Okay. What is the severity level? So the number you see here in between, this is the severity level. Okay. Then where the change happened, which facility, what kind of change happened. So it is saying that happened on the link, and what was it? Something changed. And then you have detailed information that your interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0 change state to hours. So the state of interface change. So this is just a notification. So the severity level is what? 5. Okay. So like this, according to
by default, which level of logging will be set, sir?
7. By default 7.
Debugging.
Debugging level. By default, this is enabled. And when I'm saying level 7, that means all from 0 till 7 will be logged. When I said, let's say if I say 2, so that means only severity level 0, 1, and 2 will be logged. Rest of the logs will not be generated. Okay, like this.
We can see the configuration.
Let me check. By default, I don't think you will see it. I think you can see in the show logging. See here. In the console, what is the level? Debugging. In the monitor logging, what is the level? Debugging, and your buffer logging is disabled. So your console logging is by default enabled. Okay. And your terminal logging, like if you access through telnet and SSH, there if you give shutdown and no shutdown command, you will not see the logs, because terminal logging is by default disabled. Okay. And how you can enable it? See, in the console by default, your logging is enabled. So I think you will see the command also in the running config. Line console. No, by default it is not available. But let's say if you want to enable, so you can say logging console. Okay, and this will enable logging. And if I say no logging console, done.
So we have a logging console, it will debugging. Debugging.
No, debugging, the severity level also you can provide. Let me say line console 0. Then I can say logging. Okay, synchronous, and then severity level also you can give there. Let me check. I think I'm missing that command.
But monitor logging means it is what we get in daily basis. Monitor logging.
Console logging. Console logging. And if you want to specify a server, like if you have a SNMP server, Syslog server in the network, you can say logging host, and you can give the IP of the Syslog server. And directly it will push in the logs to the Syslog server. Okay. I think this one. Login. Yeah. So by default in the console, you can log till severity level 7. In the packet tracer, maybe you're seeing this, but in the real routers, you will see more options. Okay. And if you want to enable terminal logging, so the command is not here in the privilege mode. Yes. No, terminal monitor is the command. If you want to enable terminal logging, like telnet and SSH. Okay. See, enable logging on the terminal line. So by default, it is disabled. You can enable it. Okay. And if you want to store all the logs inside your router only, okay, then you have the command logging buffer. See, logging buffered, and buffer size you can give, or directly you can give this one. So all your logs will be stored. See, earlier when I checked, you'll see here that my buffered logging was disabled. Correct? Disabled means, see, whatever the logs will be generated, that will not be stored in my router. Okay. See, now if I say interface Z0 by 0, shutdown, interface Z0 by 0, no shutdown, interface Z0 by 1. Did I disable console logging or what? Oh, give this command. No logging console. So you see, I'm not seeing these logs. Okay, so let me do one thing first. Login console. Interface Z0 by 2. no shut. Now you're seeing, and all these logs you can check here, show logging buffer. Show log. Okay, it is not displaying here. But you can see here buffered logging with the level of debugging has been attained. Okay. Yeah. Console, then terminal, and then buffered. Okay. Let me show you in the real route. I think here it is not properly visible. Severity level also we can define. Now it is going to take some time. Now let's see this. So one is terminal monitor. So using this command, okay, you can do what? You can enable terminal logging. Okay. Then after we had logging, and you can see so many options are there. Okay. Then you can say logging, let's say console. And you can see here, you can see all the severity levels. So in the real routers, they will be available. Like you say logging console. Okay. Here you can say same thing, logging monitor, and you can say that at which level it will be stored, the logs will be stored. Okay. And you see, this is also a log with the severity level of 5. Okay. Similarly, let's say I will say severity level 7. And if you say logging monitor, same thing, all the severity levels are there. You can identify them with the name, or this side you see all the severity levels are also present.
So we have to, if we want to see logs in device, we need to enable two commands, logging buffer also and logging monitor.
In the device, yes. See, logging console is by default enabled. Okay. If you want to see it inside the router, then you can do what? You can use logging buffer. For example, if I say logging buffer, and then if I want, I can give the severity level. Let's say I will give severity level 7. That I should record everything. Now, interface Z0 by 0. Let me say shutdown. No shutdown. Okay. Interface Z0 by 1. Okay. Interface. No shutdown. You see, this is the severity level 3. Severity level 3 means error condition. Okay. So like this, it will display the logs. Okay. Now we have enabled logging buffer, right? See, show logging. And in the buffer, all your logs will be recorded. In the packet tracer, these features are not supported. But here in the real router, you will be able to see all the logs. Okay. And by default, now you can see here that console logging, monitor logging, and buffered logging. We enabled it. We enabled this. So like this, you can enable. Clear? And if you do not give logging buffer, then it will not be stored in the router itself. Then you can use this terminal monitor. Terminal monitor to enable terminal logging. Like if you want to monitor using while you are accessing with the telnet SSH, you will not get the logs for interface up down. So there also, if you want to get the logs, then first of all you have to give terminal monitor. And if you want to assign, see in the privilege mode, you will give the command terminal monitor. Then once given, logging will start. Now, if you want to define the logging severity level also, then you can say logging monitor. Okay, and then you can define at what severity level you want to log. You want everything, so you can give 7. Okay, you want only up till notification, so you can give 5. So if you give 5, 0 till 5. If you give 3, 0 till 3. If you give 7, 0 till 7, everything will be logged. This is your syslog. And if you want to define server, logging host, and then you can give simply your syslog server IP, and everything will be logged on the server itself. Okay.